I was always worried about the leverage in Bitcoin and crypto. There was too much leveraged players in it. That's why we had the washout, and I think there's more stability at these levels here. But no, we don't see that much implicit leverage. For the scale of the capital markets today, the leverage is not as large. I mean, that doesn't mean there's not pockets. But no, as I said in my prepared remarks this morning, I'm very bullish on the markets over the next 12 months. I think the technological revolution is going to power better margins for more companies. I mean, think about BlackRock. We've raised our margins increased by 260 basis points over the last 12 months.
CA thinking about Bitcoin? Well, just like law enforcement, I guess, we are excited as well because, as you know, people may have thought Bitcoin was anonymous, but I'd say it's pseudonymous, right? It's not truly anonymous.
He might have been sleepy, but boy, he could create inflation like nobody. And I inherited that, and I got blamed for it, and it's not my fault.
All of these things have added up to a level that we're booming. The country is booming, and we'll have Iran defeated soon. They'll be defeated very soon. And then I guess it'll be even better. But even during this, it's been amazing. I mean, to think. So I call it a military operation, but call it whatever you want. It's incredible. It's like it hasn't made a dent. A lot of people thought oil would go up to $350 a barrel, and today it's at $79. A couple of days ago, it was at $68. It went up a little bit because I had to take tough action. Yeah. Because they did not. They thought I was obey what they're supposed to obey. I mean, they just didn't do
tried
it.
to kill me. Wall
So we
Street
took a
tried to
little
bury
action,
me.
but it'll all, when that settles down,
God had
I
another
think you're
plan.
going to have $55 oil, which is all great for what you're doing, maybe less than that.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here. I hope you are doing well. If you're tuning in from the audio side, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, definitely like and subscribe or download. If you're watching us on video on Rumble or even YouTube, definitely give us a like and subscribe if you don't mind. Some little housekeeping rules here. Also, everything on this podcast is meant for information and education purposes only. Although I'm a licensed financial advisor, today and all other podcasts are not investment advice and should only be used for information and education purposes only. Now, with all the legal jargon out of the way, I hope you are doing well. Hope you're enjoying your summer. I don't know about you, if the dads, moms out there, you're going crazy because you don't know which camp to put your kids at because you don't want them sitting around on their tablets, on electronics, creating bad habits. So that's where pretty much all of America's at right now. But wherever you are at, I hope you're staying active. I hope you are not too far off your routine, but enjoy these moments because these kids are going back to school and shoot over here in Florida in another 3.5 weeks. So summer's coming to an end very quickly. But before they go back to school, I just wanted to talk about the markets, talk about not just back to school, but man, this is getting crazy, y'all. This is getting really crazy. The digital ID system is so it is just so in your face right now. You cannot hide what is happening right now. We're going to talk about this. KYC is taking a whole new level with the acts, especially in the crypto world, in the crypto markets. People bought into crypto because it was DeFi, because it was anti-Fed Reserve, it was anti-CBDC. And so what we saw the past 5 years is, you can't take the guns away from us. You can't take our right to bear arms. But what they can do is make it harder to own it, harder to access them. And the same thing is happening with crypto. The beauty about crypto was it was supposed to be decentralized. Bitcoin is decentralized. It's supposed to be DeFi, and DeFi is such a huge run. You have Chainlink, a great Ethereum blockchain based, kind of like a bridge, like the toll that connects all the Ethereum ecosystem. I mean, there's so many good projects out there. I'm not bashing crypto at all. I'm a big crypto guy. I believe there's value there. But here's the situation. People bought crypto to think they were going to be anti-CBDC and decentralized, but all that is changing. You see, the crypto banks, or exchanges, I would say, are implementing the Patriot Act. Anything that's financially related is basically having a KYC. It is not just subject to the financial brokerage firms. It is subject to social media now. Now, if you want a blue check, a blue star on X or on Facebook, you got to submit your driver's license. We'll talk about the driver's license, how that is now going digital, how they are going to be talking about the digitization of your ID, almost like a COVID. What was that thing in New York and everywhere? They wanted you to have a vaccine card. Well, instead of having a vaccine card, you're going to have a driver's license card, a digital card, where if you get pulled over, you just hand them your phone, and everything is basically like chipped in your phone, your driver's license. When you walk into a bank, you don't need to spew everything out. Just like a chip or the mark of the beast that we thought it was going to be, you're going to have everything on your phone, a wearable mark of the beast, a wearable digital ID. You walk into a bank, they scan it, they have all your financials, they have all your demographics, they have pretty much your freaking DNA. It will be a mobile MIB. Guys, this is going to this is going to be the rolling out of the red carpet of the social credit score system. I already spoke about track, trace, control agenda. I already spoke about Experian sounds like experiment, TransUnion sounds like transhuman, and Equifax sounds like equitable, meaning you have to have equity into this system. And what equity looks like is you have to do what Benjamin Franklin was talking about. I love this quote. Those of you who give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Benjamin Franklin. Couldn't have said it any better. And how prevalent and relevant is those words? How forward-thinking that was back in his time for him to say that. And how, oh man, it's almost biblical what he just said. We're giving up some of the liberties, our financial liberties, so that we can be track, trace, control, so that we don't have to get our nice kangaroo leather or designer leather, pull out our driver's license, hurt our pinky nail, and give them the driver's license and bring in paper statements to say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I qualify for. No, digital ID, it's so much easier. And here's the thing, the more accounts that we have, the more subject we are, literally like a sitting duck. They have all of our information, guys, all of it. There is no walking away from this right now. You have been CBDC'd since March of 2023. You have been CBDC'd. This is not going away. And it's even getting worse, to the fact that we have agencies, 3-letter agencies all over that are partnering with FinCEN, that are partnering with GAO, Government Accountability Office, that are partnering with your state and local officials, that are track, trace, and controlling your bank accounts so much that they're creating their own blockchain. They're creating their own things that the Federal Reserve wants them to have. So I didn't even talk about the Federal Reserve yet. If you haven't heard about Green Money Solutions, let me tell you, a lot of retirees, they stick their money in their 401ks, they stick their money in their IRAs and their Roths, and they rely on stocks and bonds, even precious metals to grow their retirement, to get them to their retirement destinations. You need principal protection. You need an account that has ability to protect your money, grow with the index that you're currently already following with 100% risk. Now you have a principal protected account that will grow with equity-like returns, and more importantly, withdraw those funds while your account accumulates. If that is something that you're interested in, Green Money Solutions is a national brand that will protect your retirement. Over the past 22 years, our clients have successfully implemented this strategy to create a secure and safe retirement. Most advisors don't have access to this because they don't get paid to offer green money. All you have to do is go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out the information, and let's just have a conversation. So in order to open up a bank account, there's something known as KYC, whether it's a brokerage account, whether it's a registered investment product of some sort. The Treasury, basically, the Board of Governors of Federal Reserve. And so this is not some conspiratorial thing. This is actually public information that the Fed just definitely has announced just over a month ago, is that the Federal Reserve on Thursday requested a comment on proposal to require certain payment stablecoin issuers to maintain an effective customer identification program. This proposal would introduce requirements for those stablecoin issuers that are comparable to the customer ID program requirements for banks and credit unions. This proposal is being used jointly with 4 other agencies. Comments of proposal are due 60 days after this publication. And so they want an answer actually by this weekend. So I'll be watching the news on the Clarity Act, the Genius Act. There are going to be some updates there, and I'll be updating you guys next week on it after I can process the information and just share my opinion about it. So here's a Fed just saying, look, these stablecoin exchanges and issuers, you got to have some KYC going on, because it's too much problems for us, the government, to try to track, trace, and control. So let's do the simple thing. We can't control Ethereum. We can't control Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, they get pissed off with Bitcoin because it's the only digital asset that you can't raise interest and manipulate the price. You can't produce more and print money out of thin air. You can't print more Bitcoin. So if you want to manipulate the dollar and steal your silver and pump up the dollar like they're doing now to steal your silver, and don't think for 1 second they're not doing it. I'll show you the charts on that. And you tell me if that's the conspiracy. Because the charts don't lie, homie. I mean, we discussed that many, many times. But here, with this article, they literally are creating one of the safest spaces and secure spaces, now being more vulnerable to tracking you, since they cannot change the ecosystem of Bitcoin. They can change the laws around it, just like they did with our 2A rights, just like they did with guns. They can change the law of who can own a gun, where you can carry a gun, who can buy a gun, make it more difficult. Speaking which, when the CBDC actually gets fully blown effective and it's affecting your everyday life, which it is now, by the way, try buying a non-FDA product with your bank and see what happens instantly to your bank account. Be very cautious, because there are some clients that try to buy something that's out of the scope, and we'll talk about that. There's several agencies that align with this and already given problems to bank holders, which, remember, guys, you don't own the money in a bank. You say, here, sir, can I get another spanking? Ma'am, can I have my money? Like, literally, you got to ask permission to get your money out, because it's never your money. You literally gave it away to the bank. You legally gave it away to the stinking bank. These people that say, Carlos, well, this safe fund you had, I could have put it in a CD and made 5%. I'm like, please don't say that. You don't own the money in your CD. And if you only made 3.5%, 4% in a fixed account, be grateful, because you actually own the money. So yeah, would you rather make 5% at a CD in 6 to 8 months, or whatever CD garbage you bought that they don't even have insurance on it? They have FDIC, but you trust the government with the FDIC insurance. You don't own the money in your bank account. Don't believe me? You don't have to. Just go ahead and do your own research on it. Go ahead and ask whatever woke media you want to ask. OpenAI. Pause the video and say, hey, do I own the money in my bank account? And see what it tells you. I'm not blowing smoke up. You know what? This is how it is, guys. This is the financial system. For anyone that says any other, I don't know, maybe they're vaccinated. Maybe they got, the mom dropped them when they're a baby. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with somebody that believes a bank is safe. We've been programmed and conditioned to think that it is. But I'm telling you that the FDIC does not have enough money to back up your money. This is why when you go walk into a bank and you say, I need $100,000 out of my savings or checking account, they're going to look at you like you got something growing on the side of your head, on your forehead, because they don't have it. Because it never was yours. They lent it out with the fractional banking system. They lent it out so that they can make their 8 or 9 or 10%, sending it out to Joe the plumber, and you get peanuts. You ghetto citizen. Yes, you get peanuts. You might get a staggering 2% in your high yield checking account, or 3%, whatever it is. They lure you in. And here's the fun part: what the banks do. They'll say, you know, we're going to give you a 6% simple interest rate. I've even saw one bank saying a 7% CD, and they're smart in their marketing, and they can do this because it's not a security. They can say 7% CD, you got to qualify, you got to have at least $200,000 in this CD, and it's only 6 months, or I'm sorry, it's only 1 year, or it's a 5-year, right? The 5-year, it's a 5-year CD, and you get 7%. Sounds amazing. But what they don't tell you is that it's simple. So you bought this CD, right? You bought the CD with a simple interest rate. And let's just say it started at 7%. Hypothetically, I don't think there's any CDs right now paying 7% simple, but they do what's called a teaser rate. And so this teaser rate is to lure you in so you can do a certified deposit, also known as certificate of disappointment or certificate of depreciation. Call it whatever you want to call it. So you have a 1 year, right? For 1 year, you get 7%. That's $14,000 simple interest rate. Number two, year two, you make a 6% simple interest rate, and that's another $12,000. Year three, you make a 5% simple interest rate. That's $10,000. And then the following year, year four, you make a 3% simple interest rate, and that's $6,000. And then the final year, on the 5th year, you make a 2% simple interest rate. And total, with that scenario, if you could find a teaser CD, you're talking about $46,000 in interest. Now, what if I told you there's an account that compounds, that legit compounds with Green Money Solutions? You make pretty much the upside of the index. And let's just say it's 7%. Is what you're averaging. 7% compounding. Do you know what the huge difference is? So would you rather have the CD that's completely safe and backed by the FDIC, you know, the government? You're walking away with $246,000 after 5 years. Or you can get a compounding 7%. Of course, I'm not guaranteeing that. I'm not saying that's what you're going to get, but past performance is not indicative of future results. I'm just saying long-term what this has been averaging. But even at 7% compounding on a green money account, you're looking at $280,000 compounding. You still have access to the money. And oh, by the way, if you touch the CD, you can't touch it because now your teaser rate is gone. Versus green money, you have access to 10%, and your compounding does not get interrupted by fees as long as you stay within the 10% free withdrawal range. So there's such a huge difference that people don't even realize what they're getting into. But as we go into this track, trace, and control agenda, guys, it is getting so bad that now there are different 3-letter government agencies that I didn't even know existed that have a big issue with the DeFi, with the crypto. Let me show you this real quick. As it's not bad enough. I already showed you the Fed. I showed you that they want a customer identification program. So the NIST, the Computer Security Resource Center, digital identities, mobile driver licenses, accelerating development and adaptation of digital identity for financial institutions. So Ying Chung from NIST, William Fisher, Ryan Galuzzo, all these people on the board basically announced, and this was back in March of this year, saying that technical resources to help financial institutions use mobile driver's license, MDLs, for customer identification. The NIST special publication provides an updated reference, architecture, implementation details, and key findings for the project. Basically, some bullet points here: implementation and adaptation challenges, regulatory and compliance alignment, technological transfer and resources, and threats and threat model. So, basically paraphrasing, this document highlights the challenges to the adoption of the MDL technology learned through engagement with collaborators, stakeholders, spanning technology providers, financial institutions, standards, bodies, and government agencies. However, additional insights on barriers to adoption can help focus the project and future phases of work in this engagement and standard development organizations. Number 2, the regulatory and compliance alignment. This document offers insight into the ways in which MDL online presentation aligns with existing regulatory structures. Number 3, technology transfer and resources. The document, as well as supporting resources, are intended to aid in the implementation of the technology in real-world environments. The project team's highly interested in additional resources and tools which further aid both technical implementation and broader adaptation of the technology. And last but not least, the threats and the threat model. The threat model proposed here is intended to act as a starting point for the members of the ecosystem to identify, prepare on how attacks shift in the mobile driver's license environment. Input on the approach specifies threats and mitigations that will be highly valuable in maturing this view, providing greater visibility into future risk. Holy cow. Did you understand any of that? Sounds like a geek wrote all that, but basically it's some corporate garbage and other ways to basically utilize what they seem is suitable to follow your financial transactions. And all this will be scored under a mobile driver's license. So this could be the real ID. And this is where the banks are headed to. They want this MDL technology basically to be the new KYC. In order for you to open up any account, you got to have a KYC system. This is where we're headed to. I want you to understand that this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem that is in the forefront of America. Now, it doesn't stop there, guys. This is just one layer, 2 layers. Because the KYC is so important, I don't think you understand what KYC is. KYC, if you look it up, actually, let's go ahead and look it up. So I just wanted to add AI and Google. You know, this is what the mainstream media uses. So KYC, what is it? It's know your customer, and there's a mandatory process by financial institutions to verify, identify their customers. So why it matters: it prevents crime. Supposedly, it stops money laundering, terrorist financing, illegal funding, ensures safety. It protects businesses from fraud and identity theft and legal compliance. Governments legally require banks and financial firms to do it. So me, as a financial advisor, there is a KYC process that Cortez Wealth Management has to go through, as well as all the financial institutions that we represent and move funds to. So here's how it works. You submit personal information, name, date of birth, address, pertinent information. They go through a verification process, through official documentations, through credible licenses, typically like a driver's license, a passport, a government ID of some sort, a state-issued ID, and then there's an assessment. Once we hear back that everything checks out fine, maybe it's LexisNexis, they will check the FinCEN. They check pretty much everything instantly, very similar to a prescription call, and they check the MIB to make sure that you don't have any cancer pills or anything that is terminal, so that they could issue you insurance, maybe life insurance or medical insurance, or there's an assessment. Same thing with financial. The institution checks your risk level for potential financial crimes. This is where it gets interesting. The documents typically required are government issue ID, like I just said, and proof of address, bank statement, rent agreement or utility bill, mortgage statement, those things. If you haven't heard about Green Money Solutions, let me tell you, a lot of retirees, they stick their money in the 401ks, they stick their money in their IRAs and their Roths, and they rely on stocks and bonds, even precious metals to grow their retirement, to get them to their retirement destinations. You need principal protection. You need an account that has ability to protect your money, grow with the index that you're currently already following with 100% risk. Now you have a principal protected account that will grow with equity-like returns, and more importantly, withdraw those funds while your account accumulates. If that is something that you're interested in, Green Money Solutions is a national brand that will protect your retirement. Over the past 22 years, our clients have successfully implemented this strategy to create a secure and safe retirement. Most advisors don't have access to this because they don't get paid to offer green money. All you have to do is go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out the information, and let's just have a conversation. So then there's something with the Patriot Act, because the Patriot Act is another fuel to the fire, so to speak, because ever since 9/11, what they did is they passed a law to help mitigate and to help divert financial crimes or terrorists. The Congress passed it right after terrorist attacks, quote unquote, terrorist attacks. Modernized surveillance. It updated wiretapping and surveillance laws for digital age. Holy cow. Information sharing. It broke down walls between law enforcement and intelligence agencies. Expand surveillance, sneak and peek warrants, permits law enforcement to search a home without immediately notifying the owner. Fights money laundering, forces banks to strictly verify customers. Detention powers, gives authorities the power to detain non-citizens suspected of terrorism. The controversy. Well, here's what it is. The privacy concerns. Critics argue that it violates civil liberties and the Fourth Amendment. Overreach. Opponents claiming it allows the government to spy on innocent civilians without enough oversight. This is nuts. So now what they want to do is they want to bring DeFi. They want to bring all the exchanges into this KYC Patriot Act agenda. And as I told you guys plenty of times, that God gave me this vision of how we were just like into this like digital concentration camp, that we couldn't do anything because everything's so wearable. Our phones are wearable. The Alexa, the Amazon dot on your desk or in your garage, Alexa, Siri, all these wearable AIs that have pretty much everything, your whole life. Collecting data. You add the quantum computing to all this. We are in a surveillance state, guys. We're here. Do you want your retirement to be in a subject of the hands of the government? It is no longer about rate of return anymore. It's actually the return of your money, the access of your money. This is getting out of hand, guys. Like, it's and to add more fuel to the fire, guess what there else is if any of this is not enough, I want you to check this out. I'm not done. I'm just talking about one or two things that are just disturbing. But there's a fatality here. There's the final boss stage. The illicit finance. This is from the GAO, the United States Government Accountability Office. Yes, an accountability office. State Treasury safeguards for providing access to information on corporate ownership. And U.S. companies aren't usually required to publicly name the people who own them. Yet, without such transparency, criminals could launder money or hide illegal activities. In 2024, the Treasury Department began requiring some companies to report owner identity information to its Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, also known as FinCEN. Treasury granted 6 law enforcement agencies to access this information. It also requires requests for access for additional agencies, government agencies. So again, we have a Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, also known as FinCEN, and basically collects and shares beneficial ownership information to help prevent misuse corporate structures to conceal illicit financial activities. Beneficiary owners are individuals who directly or indirectly own or control a certain percentage of ownership interest or exercise substantial control over a reporting company. In 2024, FinCEN began to securely collect, process, store, and manage it in an IT system beneficial ownership information submitted by required fillers. It also began to implement a 5-phase program to allow authorized users, such as the federal agencies engaged in national security, intelligence, law enforcement, to request access to the system. So great. Now the police, now pretty much everything in the government agency has access to all your financial information. And so through the GAO, they obviously did multiple studies on this, and you can view the report online. But guys, what I'm telling you is that we are in the matrix. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm here to tell you, to alert you that it's time to get off the grid. Do you really trust the government with your money? Are you going to buy a Trump account for your kid? I don't care about the stupid $1,000. They can keep it and show it up there. You know what? This is not worth it. We're getting to a point where the government is handing out all these things and saying, oh, this is great. This is awesome. But all you're doing is signing up the same way you signed up for your bank, the track, trace, control. You don't own the money in the bank. You basically don't own the 401k. You're a participant, and you sure as heck don't own your crypto anymore. Because even if you have a cold wallet, oh, I have a cold wallet, you got to sell the daggone thing. You got to put it in an exchange to get your money out, unless you're going to send it to a gold dealer that accepts Bitcoin, and then you got to sell the gold. There's always a loophole, I'm just saying. But guys, what I'm saying is that you don't need to go through all this. Imagine having your retirement in a precious metals IRA. You're in red money. Imagine having a Bitcoin IRA and having your whole retirement there. And now you got to divulge your whole financial life to the government through the KYC program. And unfortunately, this is where people are at. It is so important to have green money, to have money that's outside of the financial matrix, that you're backed by contract law, that is tied to your life. They cannot take anything from your life. They can try to tokenize it all they want, but at the end of the day, it is contractually written to you. You have a contract. You're backed by contract law. Your principal is protected. You're growing with the index. This is why I'm passionate about green money solutions, because it has helped millions of dollars and thousands of families all across our great country. I want that to be you. You needed a sound advisor that knows the system, that understands the system, that is a fiduciary, that has your interests at heart. More importantly, that someone that is aligned with you spiritually, financially, economically, politically, and academically, and also even medically, patriotically. Call it whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, if you hire some knucklehead advisor that literally does not believe in what you believe in, they're going to invest in things that you don't even agree with. So it'll never be in alignment with you, your family, or God. So it's time, guys. I can't stress this enough. This track, trace, control agenda is getting worse and worse every time I start to do more research on this. And I look at the charts, it's disgusting. So make sure wherever you're at, you don't have your whole life savings in the stock market, that you don't have your whole life savings in a bank IRA, that you don't have your whole life savings in a precious metal non-safe account. Your precious metal is not guaranteed. I told you guys, and you laughed. A lot of people laughed at me, and that's okay, because they're emotionally attached to their silver, and you got your ass kicked. I told you guys plenty of time in advance to start taking profits off. And no one listened. Some people listened, and they heeded advice. But all I had to do was look at the charts. I could care less about your feelings and your emotions and what anyone says online. The charts don't lie, man. And so I predicted that crash. And what I'm predicting right now is more important than the actual silver crash. What I'm predicting now is that you won't even own the asset that you have. The way things are going with the track, trace, and control agenda, you got to start doing stuff now, because this is serious. This is actually a program to take your money away. Here's the effed up part. The fact of the matter is the government is relying on your retirement as their capital. Straight up. Their view on your money is a whole lot different than your view on your money. You worked your whole life. You're paying into Social Security. You paid into the bank. You paid into your 401k. You paid into your mortgage. You paid into your kid's college fund. You paid into the prepaid education program for your child, probably in your state. You just paid into it. You worked into it. So yes, you do have a sense of entitlement when it comes to cash out your retirement check. The government doesn't view it that way. The government views that you received a tax credit. You were benefiting from their program. You decided to implement the tax deferral that they promised. You decided to partner with the government, handshake with Sam. And now you owe them. And part of that is them monitoring you to make sure that they got the leather belt to smack you when you're old and nimble and vulnerable and take your money. And if you don't give them the money while you're alive, that's okay. They'll get it when your children get it. And they'll punish them. This is the state that we're in right now, guys. You can avoid all this. All you got to do is go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out the information, book an appointment. Let's just have a conversation. Make sure it's right for you. You don't need to be relying on the stock market, the banks, none of this garbage. It's all red money. And just so you know, the definition of red money is a place where you put your assets. Typically, it's securities. Typically, it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, crypto, precious metals, MLPs, non-traded REITs, variable annuities. Typically, these accounts have a passive buy and hold strategy where all of America gets hurt. Here's the crappy part is that red money is mutual funds. And you know what the number one asset for mutual funds is? 401ks. And you know how much money we have in qualified 401ks? Over $50 trillion. So the government already knows how they're going to pay Israel, how they're going to pay Taiwan, how they're going to send another stupid check to Ukraine. They already know because they have your capital because you haven't done anything. The biblical concept of this is the passive will pay the penalty. The passive will pay the penalty. So how passive do you want to be? You've worked your whole life for you just to sit back and do nothing and trust a company, a red money company that doesn't even align with what you have, that hold the flag, the demonic flag right in front of the American flag come June? No, man, that's not it. That's not it. We don't want to fund that garbage. And men, it's your fault, men. It is your response, not your fault. It's your responsibility to protect your family and their legacy because a good man provided for their family also produces an inheritance to their children's children. That is your God-given call, your responsibility. And you can't do the Lord's work without knowing, without producing fruit, without making action, because you're going to pay the penalty if you don't do nothing. And it's not how much money you make. Trust me. I have clients that worked at McDonald's that literally saved as a bagger all the way up to a general manager. I have clients that are just janitors, honestly, that work at a grocery store for 20, 30 years, and they got millions. Because they stayed faithful to their job and they invested in a 401k and we helped them convert it over into a tax-free bucket. But they got millions, man. It's not about how much you make. It really is systemizing how much you can save in the right buckets and being able to retire off a nest egg. 5-6% withdrawals a year because they're making that and some every single year with no fees and no risk. Of course, past performance not indicative of future results and client testimonials doesn't mean it's going to happen to you. We understand that, but you got to start carving out money into a safe bucket, not just from stock market crashes, man. But I'm talking about takeovers. I'm talking about financial reset, financial inoculations, account registration, hijacking, thinking that you own something when you really don't. How many of you guys have learned that you don't own the money in your bank? You don't own your 401k. You barely even own your IRA. You've never paid taxes on it. You don't know how long it's going to last you. And tell me what's going to happen and what you're going to do with it to make it last for the rest of your life. I'll sit back and have my popcorn. Tell me what you're going to do, because that's my job. And that's what people don't realize is that, yeah, you got $1 million in your IRA. Great. Tell me how long it's going to last you. You got $1 million in your 401k. Maybe you got $2 million. Great. Tell me how it's going to last you. What are you going to invest in? Or you can just call me, because I'm here. I'm here to be a solution for you. I'm here to not sell you on anything. I'm here to guide you. I will do this. I will continue to do this. This is my God-given talent, and this is my ministry. Literally, if I can help you retire, get the money game out of the way, and if I can ask if your name is in the book of life, but my heart, and why I get on this camera every week, twice a week, and almost every day on different networks, is because I want to ask you, is your name written in the book of life? If we can have a common ground and talk about something I'm pretty good at, which is retirement planning and making sure that you're safe and secure and that you can avoid the nasty pitfalls that I've seen many Americans fail to in their retirement, it breaks my heart. Do you think I like seeing Aunt Susie being a Walmart greeter? Literally breaks my heart. No one helped her. Maybe it was her fault. Maybe she didn't know how to save. Maybe she didn't know what saving vehicle was. Maybe she lost something in 2008 and got scared and moved to cash and never rode the upswings. She could have been spending that time, instead of a Walmart greeter or working at Home Depot, she could have spent that time with her kids had she had the right advice. She could have been helping somebody in church go through a painful situation. That's my mission, to avoid those. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to do that because you're bored at work or whatever, there's nothing wrong with that. But you shouldn't have to do it because of a necessity. You should only have to work in retirement because it's a luxury, because you wanted to. So if you're 40, 50 years old, give me a call. If you're 60 or 70, give me a call. Doesn't matter what stage you're in. I want to work with you, but I only want to work with God-fearing patriots. I only want to work with people that align with my values, your values. I am not desperate. I have told plenty of people go kick rocks, pound sand. I am not desperate. I am not a good fit for everyone, nor do I want to be. Because I truly want to work with people that love this country, that love their family, that love themselves, and that love the cross. And if that's you, give me a call. I'm more than happy to help. Or you can visit greenmoneysolutions.com. We can just have a simple conversation. But it is time to wake up, not be programmed by what podcasters are saying or what influencers are saying. Because look, they are not licensed. They get paid. Majority of those people get paid by the opposition, by the Zionists, by people to change their message. And they're so good at what they do, they will make the message seem like it's a part of them. In reality, it's there to produce results, to produce views, so that they can charge X amount of dollars to whoever is saying, hey, we'll give you $40,000 a month if you talk about this and do some live reads and place our banner ads on your podcast. Guys, I do not even entertain these companies. I don't do it because my message is authentic. I pay for my own podcast. I have clients that actually donate to the podcast so that I can keep on airing. This stuff's not cheap. And it's very, very powerful. It hits home because they support this message. They support the work. And you know who you are. And I pray a blessing over you and your family, because you are a leader and you are a child of God. Anyways, guys, I appreciate it. Do not forget to get your peptides from Get Me Lean USA. There's a beauty peptide for you ladies if you want stronger hair and skin and better looking nails. I don't know too much about that, but you can go to getmeleanusa.com and look at the new beauty peptides. For all others, if you want to lose weight and get that scale looking more favorable for you and lower your A1C and sleep better and think better, focus better, go to getmeleanusa.com, get you a performance pack. It's a monthly subscription. If you go on a monthly subscription, I believe it's 10% off. You can cancel anytime, by the way. I don't make a ton of money on it, but the products, I can put my name behind it. They're awesome. The drinks are great. They have this energized drink. It's blue. It tastes a little tangy, but man, it motivates you in the morning, or maybe you get an afternoon slump. Instead of a coffee that's going to make you crash a few hours later, all you got to do is pick up a energized from getmeleanusa.com and see how it changes your afternoon. You might take that walk. You might just mow the lawn after putting it off. You might actually get some stuff done. Well, anyways, go to getmeleanusa.com if you would like to order some. It does help out. All the profits help out with this podcast. But more importantly, if you need help with your financial picture, just go to CortezWM.com. You can book an appointment directly there, or if you want information on green money, go to greenmoneysolutions.com. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Spotify channel, as well as Rumble and Apple Podcasts. All you got to do is look up Scriptures and Wallstreet, and you should see our show on all those major platforms. God bless you guys. I'm out of here, and we will talk soon. See you this weekend. So how many times have we gotten lost in the minutia of the everyday life? We've gotten fat, we've gotten lazy, we've gotten complacent, not just in our faith, but also our fitness, maybe our finances, maybe our marriage, maybe our family. But we've gotten complacent, and we constantly need to continue to grow. And one of the things I was weak at was in my fitness. As a former athlete, I thought I had it all. My ego got in the way. I'm like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Up until now, I have been able to focus on my fitness. For those of you who've been following me for 3 or 4 years, you understand that I've gained a lot of weight. I've used the excuse of having 4 kids, a marriage, a business, helping out at church, all these excuses. And I keep putting myself in the back burner. This is deadly. And what I love about this company, what I love about taking ownership, is that GetMeLeanUSA.com has the ability to introduce natural, groundbreaking peptides. What your body demands, what your body needs to release those fat stored cells, to build muscle, to gain your physical being back to where it's naturally supposed to be. We're not talking about big pharma saying we're going to come out with the weight loss drug. We're not talking about losing muscle. We're talking about gaining muscle, gaining your physique back, controlling your appetite, giving you the edge that you need to help you get your body back in check the way God intended it to be, by using his resources with America First products, with America First company that aligns and believes in what you believe in. Introducing GetMeLeanUSA.com. Get in. This is going to be groundbreaking, huge business opportunity, as well as a huge groundbreaking technology that is going to change the landscape. So I know good things before I see it, and I highly recommend you get in. All you got to do is click the link below and get you some fit, get you some lean, and get fit and get lean. This is not going to do everything. Of course, diet and exercise, you continue your walking, continue your protein intake, but man, does it make it a whole lot easier to get in shape. Look at me, I've lost 60 pounds, but this is actually fundamentally a great recipe to get back in shape. And I can personally attest to the amazing effects of this product. So go to getmeleanusa.com. You won't regret it. You can cancel anytime. They're affordable and yet they're effective. And you are supporting our show. You're supporting yourself. You're supporting a mission. There is an affiliate program attached to it if you would want to share it with your friends and family. There's a whole nother opportunity there. But more importantly, let's get your fitness back in check. God bless you. Carlos Cortez here, signing out.